So I'll be taking you through this advancing computing literacy project implementation model. First of all, let me start by congratulating all of you for being here. It's quite a privilege for you to be, I don't like using the word trainers, but you'll be facilitators. So being facilitators, you have a lot of responsibility bestowed on you because you'll be having those learners seeing change under your tutelage. Therefore, it means whatever you'll be doing, you'll be indirectly reaching to those learners, 46,800 of them. And then, so it is to adapt this curriculum into 80 schools, that is 50 primary schools and 30 secondary schools for students aged between 9 and 16, that cohort between 4 to 7, and also from 1 and 2. So some of you may be coming from these schools, and there is a reason as to why it's being done between that particular age cohort. So Ben will be sharing more information on that. So this curriculum is well aligned to CBC, that is competency-based curriculum, and he'll be showing you how this is possible. So the most important thing here is to design and co-deliver training and capacity building for 400 teachers, that is 250 in primary school and also 150 in secondary school. So from this, you can clearly see where the focus is. The focus is majorly on the primary section. That is between grade 4 and 7, because we have, 50 schools. And also look at those number of teachers, 250. For those who are good in maths, very fast tunaweza fanya 250 divided by 150 to get the ratio of how many teachers were primary ni how many were secondary. Okay, so you guys now, you will be referred to as master facilitators or digital warriors to deliver the computing curriculum in Mombasa County. Now this is a pilot. This is something we haven't told you. This is the firstborn. And basically, being a firstborn, people are actually looking at whatever you will be doing, and you will be a benchmark. So whatever will happen in Mombasa will be a benchmark, and therefore to be cascaded all over the 46 counties, and of course maybe entirely in Africa, etc. So the findings of this project here in Mombasa will be so much important when it comes to what? Making decisions on whether to cascade or not. Now, another aspect is the aim of the curriculum, as I've said, is to be approved by KICD and of course the Ministry of Education for national rollout, and for Mombasa County to serve as a flagship county to catalyze systems change across all the 47 counties. Remember, for you to catalyze system change, you need to have tangible evidence to actually showcase that this one is working. It is not just by a mere word of mouth. So whatever documentation of the success stories and what is working and the key lessons will be very critical when it comes to making of decisions, whether to cascade or not. Tuko pamoja? Yes. Look scared. Aki imewashtua sana. Okay, so the current context. Now, we are partnering with Mombasa County, and that's why you had some individuals actually introducing themselves affiliated to Mombasa County. So we are partnering with them, we are collaborating with them, and of course with Raspberry Pi Foundation to have this project run here in Mombasa County. And just basically to show you their mandate in Mombasa County, they are overseeing, of course, the governance of those particular number of learners in the institutions that are listed there. By the way, for your information, day by day, we are having schools mushrooming. Sinukweli? Yes, and therefore this number may change even next week. I don't know. Maybe if we go to the CDE, this number may be different, depending on the number of registration of institutions that are coming up. Now we have six sub-counties, and some of you seated here, you are basically representing these sub-counties where this action will be taking place. Now, another thing is in February 2021, Mombasa County launched an ECD robotics program for 30,000 learners in 104 ECD centers, that is early childhood development centers. Now, 8 of these centers were equipped with Lego EV3 at a cost of that. It's a lot of money. Yeah, costing a total of 131,543 pounds. Now, the objective was for learners to gain introductory skills to robotics through after-school clubs. A teacher training program was also planned to reach approximately 110 teachers, with the aim of training 100 of them for that span of period. That is around 6 years. So basically, if you are training 100, bare minimum, that was around 600 teachers by the end of 2027. Now, the department was keen to establish a legacy in education program that meets the needs of teachers and learners. And I think this one is so basic, or rather so important for us, that it needs, this one, whatever we shall be doing, needs to match the needs of teachers and those of learners. Because if it doesn't do this, then it means you are inventing the wheel, which may not even help us so much when it comes to traction. Now, their vision is to position Mombasa County as a flagship county for education and digital transformation. Yeah, and the real situation. Now, any project is anchored on the problems on the ground. Every project is anchored on the problem. What is the problem statement? What is the project trying to solve? So these are some of the problems, or rather the situations on the ground, which some of us here are trying to do what? To overcome, or rather to alleviate. So the first one is this: few coding clubs exist in our schools. Is that true or not true? It's very true. Sindio? Very few. Meaning that less of this is happening in schools. Yeah? Where it matters. Number 2, no coding and robotics curriculum is in place. Is there any? Curriculum. Talking about curriculum. As a topic. But no curriculum. Yes? The other one is this: inadequate teacher training on coding and robotics. Is that true or not true? In primary, in the CBC, we have Scratch. Our teachers teaching? Some don't. Why do you think those who are not teaching is the reason? They don't have training. Yeah, so we are agreeing that we have inadequate teacher training. The other one is sustainability. And this is the elephant in the room. We have so many projects which will mushroom, but at the end of the day, where are they anchored in terms of sustainability? Now, the other aspects, these challenges now were taken into account when it came to the designing of the Raspberry Pi Foundation Advancing Computing Literacy project, which you are doing today. So this project has really borrowed heavily to try and alleviate all these problems which are listed here. Of course, these are the major ones. There may be many, but these are the major ones. Now, why physical computing? So why this project? Or rather, why this curriculum? Why this content? The first aspect is that problem solving and critical thinking skills in learners. So this is what we want to inculcate in the learners. Majority of us, sometimes you are asked, do we even possess these qualities? Do we even possess these skills? For you to survive in the 21st century, you need to have these skills. The problem solving and critical thinking skills. Some of us keep on complaining all the time. Oh, the government is not doing this. The government is not doing this. But at the end of the day, you may be lacking these skills. That's why you're complaining. So we need to inculcate this into the learners, even at a what? At a tender age. Now, learners who are in grade 4 are approximately what age? 10 years. Real. Now, 10 years, for those who have done psychology, 10 years, of course, you are having cognitive development, right? Their cognitive development is allowing them to start grasping some abstract content. Sinokweli? And that's why we are having programming being taught in grade 4 and 5, right? Yes, hata ukikosa haina shida. In grade 4 and 5, because we are having them comprehend that particular kind of content. Now, research says this, that there is a content, or rather some skills, if you don't perfect them at a tender age, you will actually move in a halo even to your adulthood, in a phenomenon called the Matthews effect. You miss a content at a tender age, hautawahi ielewa mpaka mwisho wako. And that's why there are people who struggle in mathematics, and it is because they are not good in maths, but it's because some concepts were not well taught, or rather they didn't grasp those content at a foundational stage. And therefore it is so key for us to do this for these learners who are at their tender age, because they also have that cognitive ability to grasp this content. The second aspect is creativity and innovation. I will be showing you that at the end of the day, how success will look like in this project. We'll be talking about creativity and innovation, where these learners will be in a position to come up with innovations and projects related to whatever they are learning. Because if they are not able to come up with innovations and projects showing whatever they are learning, then it means we are not doing anything at school. Or rather, these learners are not confident enough to showcase, to turn the theoretical aspect into practicability. Now, the other aspect is this, personalized learning experiences. Now, Ben will be sharing, and the other trainers will be talking more of what? Project-based learning, PBL approach. It is not theoretical, but there will be a lot of hands-on approaches, where these learners will be exposed to a lot of hands-on activities, where this will enable them to have what? The personalized learning experiences. Remember, in my previous slide, I talked about taking into account the needs of the learners. Taking into account of the needs of the learners is so critical, because it will give them a chance to personalize their learning experience. I expect if you are here, you are not those kind of people saying this is a weak learner and this is a good learner. I normally give an example. You cannot give a competition of swimming to a monkey and a fish and judge them on swimming, right? Put them into their own conducive environments and then judge them. So the way sometimes you say this is a weak learner, that is an unfair judgment, because maybe their learning style does not go with the content you are teaching. Yeah. The other aspect which we are doing in physical computing in this curriculum is to prepare learners for advanced learning and job readiness. Right now we are moving towards automation. AI is taking the stage right now. Yeah, and these are skills which our learners need to possess, because right now, if you move into other jurisdictions or other countries where education is doing so well, they have inculcated this because they know these skills are so important for people to be ready for the jobs which are actually mushrooming now. They need people who are tech savvy. They need people who are tech savvy and people who are ready to be what? To be in a position to use technology. Now, the other aspect is real world relevance. Sure. Yeah. Are you aware that the minister for the Blue Economy Ministry actually comes from Coast? Sio kweli? Anaitwa nani? His Excellency Mvurya, right? Yes, there is a ministry in Blue Economy. Now, we have an ocean here. How many projects in science fair this year were anchored on blue economy? He's shaking his head because it's actually a sorry state. Learners were not able to come up with ideas to showcase solutions anchored in the blue economy. And yet we are adjacent to the ocean here. So it means a lot. And when you will be training these teachers, show them a way of doing what? Real world relevance, where this curriculum, or rather these skills, will enable them to come up with solutions to the contextual problems facing what? Facing the world. And of course, they will start from here. Charity begins at home. Now, the summaries of the initial units, these are some of the units will be taken through. Information technology around us. The other one is sequencing sounds. And then digital writing and desktop publishing. And then the other one is introduction to spreadsheets. Yeah, so these are some of the things which these learners will be taken through, and of course many more. Now, there's something we call pedagogical principles which are being used to teach, or rather which will be used to tutor these learners and even these individuals. One, of course, they are there. We have working together, challenging misconceptions, all the way to creation of projects. So he will also shed more light on that. So you can see gets hands-on, which means theoretical aspect will so much be minimal and a lot of what? Hands-on activity. Okay, then another aspect is this. He'll also talk more about that, so you just allow me to move forward. So advancing computing literacy project outline plan. Now we will start by doing what? We'll start by training you, and then after we train you, you will now train the teachers. Then the teachers now will use that curriculum to do what? To tutor the learner. So it's a cascade program, or rather a cascade model. So these are some of the key activities. So mapping and adapting of the computing curriculum. He has talked about adapting the curriculum to the Kenyan context. So as a teacher seated here, you may be asking yourself, is it additional to what I'm teaching or it's not additional? The answer is what? The answer is what? Is it additional to what the teachers have, or it's something which is complementary to what you have? Yes. Please set your mindset well. Hilo neno additional isiwahi toka kwa mdomo wako. It is not additional. Then we have training and capacity building of community trainers. I'll be using these terms concurrently. Community trainers, digital warriors, or master facilitators. Then of course the last one is monitor and evaluation. We'll be taking you through some of the ways of monitoring to gauge success or progress in whatever we are doing. How do you document success? How do you document what is working and what is not working? So RPF already has designed the online training, which you will now be taken through, and then each one of you will be in charge of those numbers of teachers. That is 50 to 100. Now depending also on your competence and your passion. Categorically, let me say this. As you are seated here, it is not a guarantee that by the time we are done with this training, you will be amongst the trainers. Your own BD, your own passion, your own competencies will make us have the confidence in you. So someone is watching whatever you are doing here, just seated with you. Whatever activities you'll be doing will be so much important in the making of decisions of who will be in charge. Umeona numbers go between ngapi? 50 to 100. So the way you will conduct yourself here will determine whether you will be given many teachers or will be given less teachers. And of course, that one has its own what? It has its own culmination into other aspects I will not talk about. Maybe Paul will shed more light on that later on. Now, so let me just move towards completion. So those are the three partners you have talked about, and their roles are well listed there. And so let me just talk about sustainability, because that is very key. The first one is capacity building of government school teachers and providing curriculum mapped resources. So we'll be taking you through some of the resources you can use in case you are going now to train the teachers, where you can refer them to get additional resources for their own enrichment. Then the second one is county level adoption of the program across Mombasa County, including the potential use of learning, insights, evidence-based data to drive nationwide adoption or in the rest of the 46 counties. Therefore, documentation of progress is so key. And that is my area of specialization when it comes to monitoring and evaluation. What we'll be learning, what is working, what is not working. We need to document that, because these insights will be very critical when it comes to what? To the cascade. Then of course the other one is involving government officials from the start to the end. So involvement of different stakeholders from the word go is so important when it comes to buying and even making of certain decisions. Then the other one is this, This one is initially hosted in a Google Drive. You will be shown by Ben, and then of course how you can be getting this information, and then it will be hosted in the Kenya curriculum as we move forward. Okay, now what will success look like? Let's go to the basics. Train the 22 what? Master trainers. That's the first one. So by end of today, this is already a success. Now, a success in superficial terms. Training and grasp of content are two different things. You can be trained, but the content imebaki na nani? Na Ben and these other two. You are walking outside of this door with nothing. There is a possibility of that. Hiyo tunakemea kabisa. Then the second one is this, training of 400 teachers. Yeah, if we train these 400 teachers, of course, we will say we have what? It's a success. But again, I've told you, there is the aspect of training and the aspect of empowering. Yes. Then the other thing is mapping out of 80 schools. This one has already been done. Maybe at a later stage, we'll show you the list of the schools. Maybe some of you are privy to the list because it has already been shared in the principals forums for teachers to be mobilized. Then the other one is this, having 80 running coding clubs. Now, if you'll be given 10 schools, then your mandate is to ensure those 10 schools have 10 formed and running coding clubs. So this is one of the deliverables in your contract. You must deliver this. The word is must. Then the second one, have uptake of RPF content by the 80 schools. So if the 80 schools are able to use this content and of course infuse this content in whatever they do, then that is also an indicator of what? Of success. Then the other one is having the teachers infuse this in their pedagogical approaches. So if these skills, maybe a teacher will use in science or use in mathematics or use in CRE or even in English, then we will say that is also an indicator of what? Of success. And of course, last but not least, is these learners empowered with computing skills. So if those number of learners will be equipped with the computing skills, then we shall say these learners, or rather this is a measure of success. And lastly is what? When the empowered learners are coming up with innovations or projects. And I think this one is also one of the deliverables in your what? In your contracts. If the learners are not able to come up with innovations or projects that are directly based in whatever they are learning, then again, it shows somehow tulipoteza njia mahali. And without further ado, nasema asante. Thank you so much.